I hope you guys are ready for a silly story. This one is called The Slip Before Christmas by Jason Lee Mercer. It's not common knowledge, it just doesn't get around, but what causes a reindeer to fly up off the ground is not magic powder or the wink of Santa's eye, but getting them to laugh so hard that they cry. I didn't know that about reindeer, that's how they fly. They have to laugh so hard that they cry. Then once that has happened, they can fly through the night, taking Santa Claus on his long yearly flight. Now, it happened one time back a good many years that Santa got smiles, but could not produce the tears. Santa had thought through the summer, like he did every year, but he wasn't able to come up with a new joke for his reindeer. You see, although they were funny, the jokes were all old, and the reindeer remembered every one they've been told. Oh, there's a problem. He needs some really new funny jokes to get them to laugh so hard they cry so they can fly. Do you know funny jokes? I bet you do. So there sat poor Santa with his sled loaded down, with his head in his hands. He was stuck on the ground. Look. Well, he had to do something, so he gave out a yell to get all his elf helpers with funny stories to tell. Maybe the elves can get the reindeer to laugh so hard they cry. So they gathered around the sled, one and all, and recited every funny that they could recall. They told knock-knocks, did impersonations, and slapstick. They had awesome one-liners and even told limericks. Look at them trying to get the reindeer to laugh. I hope it worked. But all the elves' jokes only got the reindeer to giggle, and Santa's great bowl full of jelly to jiggle. They pushed up their noses and pulled down their eyes, but no funny faces got the reindeer to fly. Poor Santa was frantic. Oh, what can I do? He pulled at his hair and his face turned blue. Santa thought and he let out a sigh. He took off his gloves and wiped a tear from his eye. I don't know how he's going to solve this problem. I'm sorry, he said. I can't think of a thing. I guess Christmas is canceled unless these reindeer grow wings. Yes, Christmas would have to cancel. No more gifts in your sock. But then something happened. Something gave them a shock. You see, while Santa was frantic, Mrs. Claus was inside, having her milk and cookies before Santa's big ride. She ate the last crumb, wiped off her mustache of white, then she went to the window to watch Santa take flight. She saw them all sad and Santa's hair all in tatters, so she went out the door to see what was the matter. But as she went out, her foot caught and she slipped, and then when she landed, a great fart she ripped. She got up embarrassed, her face turning red. Then she went back inside as, "Excuse me," she said. Well, everybody was silent. No one said a word. Then all of a sudden, a giggle was heard. Has that ever happened to you before? Did anybody get the giggles? It started with one and then spread around until all of the reindeer were rolling on the ground. They all laughed till their side hurts with grins ear to ear. Then they magically started floating as their eyes filled with tears. They were laughing so hard about Mrs. Claus. They suddenly started crying. They were laughing so hard and floating in the air. Now Christmas was saved, and Santa laughed, ho, ho, ho. Then he said, I'll be back in just a minute or so. He went to the house and walked through the front door, and there sat Mrs. Claus and a puddle of tears on the floor. Oh, she was sad that happened. She was embarrassed. Santa said, my sweet darling, there's no need to cry. I know you're embarrassed by what happened outside, but don't let it bother you. Everything is all good because you have saved Christmas when no one around you could. What do you mean? She said as she wiped tears from her face. I've done nothing but make myself a disgrace. Oh, my sweet sugar plum, I'm so glad that you tripped. He then told her the story of how Christmas was nearly skipped. When he finished explaining, he gave her a kiss, then he ran to the sled before Christmas was missed. Mrs. Claus felt much better after hearing the tale, and she watched Santa fly through the moonlight so pale. Well, that's just how it happened on that night long ago when Christmas was saved by a slip in the snow. A lesson was learned on how to get laughter to start, and now every Christmas begins with a fart. Another thing learned is that if your tummy doesn't like lactose, you must watch your step, as now Mrs. Claus knows. Now Santa doesn't need to think of jokes when it's sunny. Those reindeer will fly because a fart's always funny. Oh, golly. Oh golly, the end. Look at. What do you guys think about this silly story? Did it make you giggle a little bit? Yeah, I thought it was pretty silly too. The slip before Christmas. Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a great night.